What to say? Let's go to the whiteboard. Despite the result, I felt there were some positives, especially with the balance of United's midfield. We usually set up with 2 6s and Fernandes as a 10. Ten Hag's midfield formation at Ajax was a 6 and 2 8s, and this was the midfield shape Ten Hag used against Galatasaray, and I liked the balance. With Mount and Hannibal playing further forward, it opened the single pivot area for Casemiro to dictate the play, and he hit some great passes and controlled the game. For build-up play, instead of having the extra midfield player in this area and drawing the press, Hannibal and Mount were dropping into these areas behind Galatasaray's forward line, providing progressive passing options to the centre-backs. But again, we weren't putting the ball at risk enough and playing these passes, but the patterns were there, which is progress. Without the ball, United dropped back into a midfield 3, which made us more competitive in midfield. When we play with Fernandes as the 10, sometimes he drops back, a lot of the time he doesn't, and that's when we get rinsed with overloads. In this situation, we can see United's midfield setup of Casemiro as the 6 and Mount and Hannibal outside of him in 8 positions. Although this time it's Amrabat on the ball, he plays it out to Mount. And United are on Galatasaray's defensive line. In this next situation, we can see Casemiro in this pocket of space and plays a great pass out to Rashford in the lead up to United's first goal. Hannibal is dropping into this pocket. We can see that Casemiro has his head up and that ball has to go into Hannibal to break the forward defensive line, but a square pass is made. In the same phase of play, the ball is now played into Hannibal, but Galatasaray's forward defensive line have recovered the situation. Without the ball, Mount has just won the ball back, and we can see how the trio are working in unison to make it difficult for Galatasaray to play through us. This is another example of Mount and Hannibal's defensive discipline in dropping into midfield to prevent Casemiro getting overloaded, which has happened too often this season. We know Ten Hag likes to chop and change his tactics, especially his possession setup while playing out from the back. On Tuesday, we saw him invert Amrabat into the centre-back position and move Lindelof out to the left-back position. Tactics like this are fine if you are a good possession side, but United aren't. So when United turned the ball over, this defensive setup was horrible. Although this setup didn't get exposed on the night, it definitely will if he persists with it. This is the possession setup that we saw a lot of in the game, with Amrabat playing between Varane and Lindelof. If the ball is safe, it can work. But United give the ball away in the middle third, and now look at this defensive setup. A good side would rip this up, and demonstrates that Ten Hag can play all the elaborate tactics he wants. But time and time again, we prove we are not a good enough possession side to impose these type of tactics on our opponents. The Devil's verdict is, in my opinion, with Fernandes and Rashford in the team, it's 9 + 1 + 1. All team functionality dissipates because of the individualistic way they play. If you are going to play players like that, they must deliver. Neither are doing that. For Rashford to be considered a genuine world-class player, he had to back up last season. In my view, Fernandes has never been world-class, and Tuesday was another game where the captain was nowhere to be seen, missing a sitter and giving the ball away for fun, and of course, it was everybody else's fault. United's best performance this season by a mile was the League Cup game against Palace. It's not coincidental that both players didn't play a second. Ten Hag should worry more about what his so-called big hitters are doing or not doing on match day, opposed to what Sancho is doing or not doing on the training field. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.